Hi, welcome back to Brooks's Bass Corner. Today I have part 2 of my interview with Nathan East, dating back to May 2017 when he was performing at the Royal Albert Hall here in London with Eric Clapton. If you enjoy the interview, please hit the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I post up new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments regarding the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. On with the interview. I hope you enjoy it. So you had Vadine on the album.
Oh my goodness, my hero. You know, I mean, again.
You've obviously met in
Oh
years
yeah,
gone by.
no, we've been friends, and that's the beauty of after you've been around long enough, you become friends with these these people. They're icons and they're superstars, but then it's humbling to be able to just pick up the phone and say, hey, what are you doing Tuesday? You want to come down? And
Was he really one of your bass playing gods?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a white bass. That's why I got a white bass.
Okay.
He had, he jumps around there and he took his shirt off. I wanted to be that. When I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire in 1971,
Wow.
they came, the sports arena in San Diego, and I just, my jaw dropped. It was, and Vadine, to this day, he has more energy than anybody.
Yeah. Cool.
And so, yeah.
Okay.
They used to call us Earth, Wind, and Eric when Greg and I used to always do that.
So what happened with these original tapes? So you recorded Serpentine Fire 25 odd years ago. And was
Right.
that with the idea of doing a solo album back then? Or was it just like I want to go and do it?
The idea was at that point, my brother Marcel and I had an idea for a project called Two Faces of East. And so it was kind of a concept project. And it's funny, too, because a lot of the tunes we wrote together, 101 Eastbound, ended up, like, Foreplay was forming right about that time. So then, we need a tune. Okay, well, let's give it to that. So we were kind of working on tunes, and this was one that we had produced and put together, and, it was going to be for our project, and so I had the relationship with Eric and Phil, and we came over, and Phil was kind enough to record his drum part at the farm,
Yeah.
and Eric put his on, and I was working with one of my engineer friends, Ted Hayton, on Gail Ann Dorsey's record, and so we were in the studio, and then I checked his availability, and then Marcel came over, and so we put this track together, then, and it just sounded great. When then we flew home, put horns on it, which is Harry Kim and all the Phil Collins horns.
Phoenix horns.
Phoenix horns. And I think they call themselves the Vine Street horns now, but there's a similar version of Gerald Albright was on sax, and Dan Fanero, Arturo Velasco. And so we did that. Moogie, who engineered Reverence, mixed it, and so we mixed it, and then it was one of those things you go around playing. Oh yeah, that's awesome, and it's kind of a thing where we were going to be in like shop a deal mode and everything. But kind of Foreplay got together and we started recording, and I'm still recording. So the project never got off the ground, but here's this track and this great cover is ready to go.
So what happened to the tapes?
And the tapes, back then 2-inch tapes, So I had an API console, a studio in my garage, and when Marcel and I lived together, so they were kind of there. It was kind of in the basement of my old house, and so the tapes kind of just stayed there. Since then, I've been married. I moved out of the house, but I kept it. Patty Austin's the new tenant. She came in and loves it. So she's in there. But meanwhile, like all these tapes are down, kind of in the basement.
There.
Still there. 25 years later. So, and I guess you can't just play a tape. You have to bake it. And
that's it.
All that after all that time.
Yeah.
So we went through the baking process. 1,200 degrees, 24 hours. And I remember we taking it out. And the reason the tune came up is one night after the session, Mookie, sat me down and said, I want to play something where he puts it in, and I didn't forget about it. I mean, it's been in the back of my mind, but I had forgotten how much energy, and it felt so great, you know. So, and then Chris Giro said, "Oh man, can you imagine if we can get the guys from Earth Wind on the tune?" You know, it's like now you'd have Phil, Eric, and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
You know.
So when was that recorded in? 92, 91?
So 91.
91.
Yeah. So. Exactly, it's
Lost
crazy.
treasures.
Like, yeah, lost treasures. And it's great to look on. It's like going into the archaeological find.
It's like a time machine.
Exactly.
Going back to how
And right now, I think the song is kind of climbing the whatever chart. I don't even know how charts work anymore, but it's climbing. Cool. You know, they say it's doing well.
So these two albums, we've discussed this on WhatsApp before. Are you going to tour them with your own
Yes.
band? Okay.
Absolutely, and I've for the first time I've signed with an agent and a manager for my solos. So I'm with Ted Curland Agency, who represent Pat Metheny and Chick Corea and a lot of people like that, and then Dave Hart, who represents Ringo and
Andy.
yeah. So it's kind of like now, and so there's some gigs coming up, and we'll definitely tour.
Will you bring that over to Europe? Will it be festival
Yes.
things, or will you do club dates?
Yeah, all. I mean, we already have some offers from Ronnie's. You know, we're trying to figure out a time.
So now you've got something to fill in the few gaps of spare time that you have.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, just when you think, you know, oh yeah, let me take a little, just cool it out a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to be carrying on.
Carrying out, yeah.
So how warming is it to play with Noah on stage?
Oh my goodness.
I watched the thing in Tokyo, and he's on the album, and he seems like such a lovely kid.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously, his mother's hand, not yours. You're
exactly.
never there.
Yeah, thank God for her.
But how nice a feeling is that, you know?
It's everything. I mean, in life you have highlights, and then there's playing with your son. I mean, he's been a very special musician. You know, when at 5 I realized he had perfect pitch. You know, and he has incredible ears where he can literally hear something and go over and play it. You know, I'm just very gifted. You know, and then so as a father, you just hope you point in the right direction, and you do right by him. But we jam before we go to bed at night. I'm on the upright, and it's like jamming with an old man, you know. And it's just fun. You look over at your son and big smile, and there's nothing better. I mean, I don't take it for granted, and it fills my heart with joy. You know, there's nothing like it. You know, and especially then we take that to the stage. He's already performed in Japan a couple times, and you know, it's like, what? I was changing his diapers. Seems like
Where
yesterday.
Where did that time go?
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I remember trying to work out the car seat, how you put it in and strap it into the car and everything.
And is he intent on being a musician full time?
You know, he loves it, and I think he's definitely going in the direction of music. You know, at this stage, you know, he's going to go to college and work out all the other things, but he loves music.
Kind of
so
do
much.
what you did.
Yeah,
Get
pretty
the
much.
Musical qualification behind it.
Right.
Cool.
And maybe some business qualifications or some things that now would go enhanced. Because I mean,
well, the session scene isn't what it was.
30 years ago, I would have been taking him around the studio every day, you know, and then say, okay, here's the next guy. And we've literally, you know, like the CD industry, like one very important revenue stream has just basically almost gone away. You know, that's why you see everybody's out on tour now.
Correct.
You know, that's almost everybody you know is out on tour.
I mean, I said it to Billy Sheehan 2 weeks ago. You know, the guy never takes a break. He said, "Well, you can't." He said, "Because if you do, someone else will be filling those boots." He said, "Even though my sound is mine and what I do is what I do," he said, "You daren't stop, because if you stop,
yeah,
you know, people think you're not there."
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to, you know, unless you were really, really the impact of. I'm not even sure what kind of impact, but it's hard to kind of get off and then just get back on the train.
Yeah.
And but the other thing is you have to, like, where CDs and that kind of revenue would have been, you know, a big chunk of what our time would have been spent on in a year. That's gone away. So
merchandise and touring now.
You know, we're walking retailers.
Yeah.
You know, and I bring a suitcase of CDs with me now. And
Okay, the base school, the online tuition thing you do. We didn't speak about that last time.
Oh, that's right.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so Artistworks.com is the company, and they've rounded up about 40 faculty members or instructors, you know, from all over the world. And Martin Taylor does the guitar. Chuck Loeb has the guitar school. Patitucci, upright bass, and I'm an electric bass course. And it's a patented technology that they've come up with where the students send their video in, and we do video responses, you know, back and forth, along with loads of curriculum, and for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And I was apprehensive about how much time, because people for years have always asked me if I teach, you know, and they're always, hey, can we get a lesson, and I feel bad not to be able to accommodate. And so when we put this together, for me, this felt like a way to at least, you know, get the ball rolling, impart some wisdom and knowledge. And it's turned out to be you know, I've been now on the faculties for about 6 years, and they've grown there, you know, grown a lot of students. Paul Gilbert, you know, teaches guitar, and he's got loads to see. He's amazing. He, you know, and just slows all the lessons down. And
Well, he went to Git, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He did all of that.
Yeah. So, and for bass, I think it's important to share all the wisdom, you know, especially not just how to play through a G7, but I really try to, you know, in my responses, articulate the importance of every single thing about a note being struck, where you strike it, you know, because sat in Albert Hall the other night, okay, am I hitting it too hard, too light?
Yeah.
You know, and you just want to get it to fill the room.
I watched you move your
Yeah, exactly.
placement over pickups.
Yeah.
It's a different sound.
Yeah, it's a different sound, and you want to just constantly, you know, upgrade for the room and for the gig, you know. And those are things that you don't learn a lot in the tech, you know, Berkeley or in the academic part of the thing. But so it's fun to have students, and I was in Ronnie's, and the bartender, oh, I'm one of your students, you know. And I was walking down the street, and
So do you have ongoing input to it, like on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Or did you just film a load of videos and then that's...
So no, we film a load of videos, and then they can go down and look at those. But then there's ongoing input, so they'll have a go at some of the lessons, and then they'll send it and say, what do you think?
And that goes directly to you?
It goes directly to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I can go, well, put your thumb behind the neck, and you know, practice with a metronome and stay with the time, and it is really kind of tailor make for each student.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, foreplay, what's coming up?
So foreplay, when I go home, I travel home Friday. Saturday, we're in Nashville at the City Music Fest. Sunday, Austin, Houston, and then we
you
come.
might pass yourself on the way back.
Exactly. And then we head over to Europe for, you know, Montreux Jazz Festival and some European dates.
Is that in July?
Summer, in July.
Okay.
And then we have shows up through the end of the year at Blue Note, New York, end of November, begin December.
Okay. And new album?
And at the moment, we haven't booked any studio time. That ends up being the next challenge of getting 4 guys to commit to a block of time to go in and record. But yeah, we're now we would be, you know, we're now past the 25th anniversary, and we'd be on to the next 25.
Yeah.
You know,
Correct.
And I mean, the band is as solid as ever. And
Well, it does very well. It's a constant,
Yeah.
constantly popular.
yeah, it's amazing.
It does attract.
I can't. You wouldn't be able to imagine that, you know, you start something, and then, you know, quarter of a century later, there's everybody just, you know, wait a second, everybody's alive.
On top of everything else.
Exactly,
You know?
on top of everything else. And it was always meant to be our on top of everything else, you know,
Fill in the
endeavor.
gaps.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like it wasn't designed to be the main thing, but it turned out to be, you know, again, we released the first album, and who knew, 1.5 million records on an instrumental, you know. It's just like we were surprised. And of course, I mean, it's sad now that those days are over, because now everybody, you know, you listen on these anymore. So that's the only thing that I wish we still had some physical product that was moving out the door a lot.
I do still buy CDs. I don't buy downloads.
Yeah.
I like my booklet.
Yeah, same.
You know, and the fact that vinyl is, I think last year was the first year that vinyl had started to overtake CD sales in the UK.
Exactly.
People want the package. You know, it's not just
right.
the CD or the record. It's
right.
the liner notes. It's the photography. It's the
Exactly.
artwork as well.
No, that was a huge. I was glad to see the vinyl coming back. You know, and I've been trying to talk to the label about seeing if we can get some vinyl out there too.
I mean, there's such a market for here.
For here, it's great. Yeah.
Because lots of the old sort of classic albums have been repressed on, like, is it 180 gram? Sort of the thicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Vinyl.
So, you know, I mean, even if just for this part of the world, CD market in Japan is still strong. There's Tower Records, 100 Tower Records in Tokyo.
So we don't have those anymore.
Yeah, so it's
HMV's gone and Virgin have gone.
Unbelievable.
So where do I go to buy a CD?
Yeah.
If you don't go to Amazon, I mean, I had this the other week. Every year on my birthday, I'll do a little search online for some CDs to buy.
Right.
And all my old links in my bookmarks, none of them existed anymore. I was like, where am I supposed to buy? Oh, but there isn't anywhere.
Well, I was in San Diego a few weeks back, and I was heading over to the Chancellor, UCSD, where my alma mater, and so I was, oh man, I'd love to get him a CD, and I thought, there's nowhere to go. I couldn't buy the CD if I wanted to.
Supermarket, maybe.
Right.
And that's
You
it.
know, for a while, Starbucks got into the game, but then they dropped out.
Yep.
And it's just sad because, and when you think about it, it's, you know, what do we have to play a CD on it anyway now? The cars have stopped. And I was talking to Pat Metheny the other day, and he says, I don't even know, you know, I have to get my external drive out to even play one now.